Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Saturday, the 10th of April 2021 in the morning. Plenty to get through today. It's Grand National Day, so we'll talk about that in a little while. But yeah, there's been a lot of sporting action over the last week or so with the continuation of the Champions League, Europa League. Like I say, we've got the Grand National today. The IPL started yesterday. We've got the County Championship cricket season, which has started a couple of days ago. And we've got the Premier League darts. We've had the first 5 nights of that so far, looking very open after the first 5 evenings of events. We've got the local cricket season starting next week, so I'll have a quick word about that as well. Work's continuing on the stadium at Odsall to make it ready for the start of the stock car season. The ongoing preparation for the speedway season underway as well, so we've got a lot to get through. So we'll start by looking back at the week's football. And in the Champions League, the first legs of the quarterfinals, the best result probably was achieved by Chelsea, who won their first leg away from home in Porto by 2-0. Sorry, not away. I believe it was actually in Spain. I think they played in Sevilla, thinking about it. So, yeah, they won the first leg, though. It'll just be weird next week when they're actually going to be the home team, but they're still playing at the same stadium, and neither team's actually at home. You just get access to the home dressing room, but had a comfortable win, good performance. Must mention Mason Mount. He's starting to perform regularly now at the top level and scored again in that game. So I think they look the most comfortable of the British teams. Manchester City won 2-1 at home in their first leg against Borussia Dortmund. It was a great match to watch. I think they'll still be confident of getting through. It won't be easy though. I know Dortmund have not the best seasons in the domestic league in Germany, but they've still got some really good players. I thought Jude Bellingham played really well. And as far as the goal, it was disallowed for him. I can't believe that goal was disallowed, really. It seemed to me that it was, if anything, it was a foul by the City keeper. But they gave a foul against Bellingham, and to be fair to him, was diplomatic in his response when they asked him after the game. He seems a very level-headed young man, and he's going to be a big talent for us in the future. He's already a good player, playing at the highest level in Germany. It won't be long before he steps up, and people gone about Mbappe and Haaland has been top players. Well, Haaland didn't do a lot in that game against City, and maybe it's because he was like closely monitored by the City team and obviously done the work on him. We'll see how he goes in the second leg, but Bellingham could be one up there with them, along like people like Phil Foden, who scored the winning goal in that game. So I'm having a quick cheeky word with Haaland after the game, probably saying I'll see you next season. But we'll see, won't we, about where Haaland goes. There's a lot of speculation about his future. And it's rightly earned because he's been very good this season. He's actually been very good for the last probably 18 months to 2 years now. So we'll see where he ends up in the summer. Liverpool are probably up against it a little bit, losing 3-1 to Real Madrid. The only shot on target, I think, was scored by Liverpool for Salah, and that was the only chance they had really in the game. So a big mistake for Trent Alexander-Arnold. A lot of talk about Alexander-Arnold at the moment. Maybe it's unsettling him, with his regard to whether he's actually going to make the England squad for the Euros in the summer. He's a good player, quite clearly. He's better going forward than he's defending, no. So there are players like saying that in this waiting being the first choice right back probably in the summer now. So he's going to have work. He's got work to do if he wants to get back in the squad, I think. So people like Reece James are ahead of him now. So again, be interested to see what Gareth does when he picks his squad in May. So keep your eyes on that. So that's what's happening in the Champions League. In the Europa League, comfortable winning the end up for Manchester United away to the Spanish team Granada. Second goal by Bruno Fernandes with a penalty spot in 90 minutes. 90th minute. Made it a bit more comfortable. There are 3 players missing through suspension in the second leg, but it shouldn't hinder them really. I think they're quite clearly better than Granada. Granada had the weakest team probably left in it, so United should come through that comfortably. Arsenal, well, they feel that they've got a good chance still, but I watched that game on Thursday night and it seems that they were like not bothered for about 70 minutes, and they suddenly kicked into life, scored the goal, and then when they thought they won it, threw away a goal in the last minute. It was a good goal, but they can't be afforded to concede an away goal at the last minute like that. So Arsenal are a very interesting team. They've made some poor signings, I'd say, during the summer. Obviously a lot of speculation about who they're going to let go in the summer. I mean, people like Willian have had no impact at all. And they've got a few what you call dead wood, I suppose, they like to get rid of. People like David Luiz, you might look at getting rid of. Even Lacazette, Aubameyang, is there a problem with him? Although he did show commitment to the cause when he came on Thursday. They've got some good prospects coming through, like Saka and Smith Rowe, and obviously Kieran Tierney even has been a great signing for them. But he's a lot of injuries, so it looks like he's going to be out for quite a while now. Whether he'll make it back for the end of the season, he's going to want to play for Scotland in the Euros, but fingers crossed for him. So Arsenal have got work to do. I'm not convinced they will make it. It'd be good if they do. United will get through, I'm pretty sure. So that's how we're doing in Europe at the moment. And we're back to the Premier League this weekend. Last night I watched the game between Fulham and Wolves. I think Fulham may be done now after that. I mean, to concede such a late winner against Wolves, and you can see what it meant to the players. They were in tears, some of them, after the game. They put everything into it, but they just weren't good enough, effectively. Wolves haven't been brilliant this season, but they were thoroughly deserved winners. I think the goal they disallowed by a sort of like a millimetre in the first half, or offside of a shirt sleeve or something, were ridiculous, really. And that should have stood, in my opinion. And we need to look at that rule of the summer. I think VAR, I don't have a problem with VAR as long as it's used correctly. But the handball situations and the offsides are the two areas that we really need to look at, and whether they need to like streamline it and make it more straightforward for the fans to understand. It still gives you plenty to talk about after the games, and you'll be able to talk about it down the pub again as of next week, when you can go and sit outside in your beer gardens and enjoy it. Hopefully the weather will be alright for you to go out and sit in the garden, but it'd be nice to actually go out again and be able to discuss sport with your friends in public. Don't forget to social distance, so until for the meantime. So rest of this weekend's Premier League games, the big games probably. Well, today we've got Manchester City against Leeds at lunchtime kick-off, a couple of hours away from now. We've got Liverpool against Villa. Liverpool will be looking for revenge after the mauling received at the hands of Villa back in the early part of the season. Then tomorrow we've got West Ham and Leicester. You wouldn't have thought there were two teams that have been in Champions League spots at this stage. Well, you might have thought Leicester would be, but I don't think anybody really thought that West Ham would be. But they've played really well this season. They've got a good team spirit. Lingard's added to what they've already got. Then we'll miss Declan Rice. I'm pretty sure he's going to be out for a few weeks now, and that might have some impact on how they actually finish the season off. But don't forget, they've still got Thomas Soucek, and they've got Michail Antonio, again, injuries permitting. He's a great player, but he's always injured. So that'll have an impact on how they get on. And then you've got another revenge game, I suppose, technically. Manchester United will be looking for revenge away to Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium after being hammered 6-1 at Old Trafford early in the season. Things have changed around a little bit for the moment. Manchester United's away form's been good all season, and they think they're picking up generally at the moment. Tottenham seems to be treading water a little bit at the moment, and seems to be quite a bit of unrest behind the scenes there. So it'll be interesting to see. I can see United winning that game, to be honest with you, but we'll see what happens. So they're probably the pick of this weekend's games. I think, like I say, after Fulham's defeat last night, Newcastle may well breathe a slight sigh of relief, but only 3 points in front though still, so we'll see whether they can pick some more points up this weekend. If not, it'll still give Fulham a shout, but Fulham have got some tough games to come yet. I believe we've got to play Chelsea and Arsenal in forthcoming games, so but it could still come down to that very last game where Fulham play Newcastle at home, so yeah, there's still a lot to play for really, in terms of the Premier League. In terms of the away from the Premier League, the National League, Halifax are away to Altrincham today. Halifax still looking to get into those playoffs. They're in the 7th place in the league at the moment, so we're in the final playoff spot. Luke Summerfield looks like he's going to be back in the squad either today or maybe on Tuesday against his former team Wrexham. Ironically, the team who we picked up the injury against 3 months ago now. Sorry, not quite 3 months ago now, but not short of. So he obviously wants to play against his old teammates and put in a decent form if he gets the chance to get on the field. But hopefully Chadwick will be back. Billy Chadwick will be back today. We've got Jamie Allen. We've got Ibero on loan from Huddersfield, who started and looked quite promising his first game on Monday. So we've got that game today against Altrincham, which won't be easy. I think a draw will be a good result at Altrincham. Then we've got a big game against Wrexham on Tuesday. We're one of our rivals for the playoff spots. We've got 8 games coming up in 24 days, I think the courier said yesterday, so it's going to be a tough period. But now we're starting to get most of our players back. Fingers crossed we don't lose any more players long term to injuries or for the rest of the season. And I'm pretty sure we've got a very good chance of making those playoffs. I'm confident in the team's ability. It's probably one of the best teams we've had for a while. And Pete Wells seems to have generated a very good team spirit. It seems to be like a very much a unit. So good luck to Town today, and let's hope we can keep it going. I'll be reporting back next weekend on how we're getting on. So we'll move away from football now and talk about cricket. The IPL started yesterday. RCB meet Mumbai Indians by 2 wickets in the first game, and the game's come thick and fast now for the next 5 or 6 weeks or so. The county championship season started on Thursday. You might want to make a comment about this. I'd like to see what you think about the new format for the county championship. The teams have been split into 3 groups of 6, and they play each other at home and away. So they play 10 qualifying games, and the top 2 from each of the 3 groups go into a final group, play each other, and then the top 2 meet for the title at Lords, I think it is, in the end of September, for the Bob Willis Trophy, which was the tournament they brought in last year, but they've decided to name the trophy after Bob since he passed away last year, so which is a nice touch, really, for a man who was a very good servant to the sport and very well respected throughout cricket. But Yorkshire haven't made a great start in their game, having struggled to score 193 in their first innings. They find themselves over 250 runs behind Glamorgan, who are 68 for 4 in their second innings, so they've got 6 wickets left and they're over, I think, at 256 runs in front as they start today's play, so it's going to be an uphill task. I've looked at the other teams in Yorkshire's group. We've obviously got Lancashire, which is the derby game, which is great, but I'm not sure how interested people are going to be in going to these championship games against teams like Northampton, Glamorgan. I can't remember the teams are actually, but Sussex is one of them because they're playing Lancashire at the moment. I can't remember the team, but they're not particularly crowd pullers. But having said that, county championship generally isn't a crowd puller anymore. People aren't really interested in much of their T20, and with the addition of the 100 competition this summer, it'll be interesting to see how many people actually maintain any kind of interest in the county championship. It's more for the purists, whereas the T20 games and the 100, which is people I'd class as hit and giggle cricket, really, is for people who basically aren't really cricket fans. They've only got to get drunk at cricket and have a good time. But everyone to their own, and if it brings money in for the sport, all the better, really. Got the Test series starting against New Zealand, England as well. That's the start of June. New Zealand named their squad this week. Some of the players are going to be missing because they still may well be the IPL teams, and England are doing the same. They've told the players that if their team are still in the IPL at the latter stages of it, they're going to be allowed to miss the first test against New Zealand, which I'm not sure I agree with. Again, you might want to make some comments about that below. Local cricket league season starts next Saturday, so my friends will be up and running next weekend, and people like Simon at Bradshaw, Andy at Sorby Bridge, they'll be looking forward to getting the season going. Andy shared some pictures this week of the pitch down at Sorby Bridge, and it looked pretty good condition considering. I think it was just a bit cold for everybody to be out, a bit chilly this week, so they'll be hoping it warms up a bit by next weekend. But some of these cricket lads are tough anyway, so they won't worry about a bit of cold, will they? So good luck to all those, and I'll be keeping you updated on what's going on as and when I can, especially Bradshaw, who I've promised Simon I'll do a regular shout out to on these podcasts as I can. Moving on now to other events, and today, like I say, is the Grand National. People always ask me who I think will win. Well, I don't really give tips out as such, but the favourite is Cloth Cap, and it seems to me that most of the experts think it's a nailed on thing that Cloth Cap's going to win. Other horses of interest are Manila Times, which is ridden by Rachel Blackmore, the leading female jockey. She's giving her a good shout. She tends to either win or fall off, but she tends to win more than fall off, you'll be pleased to know, and hopefully it'd be nice to see her do well. And then on the back of that, we've got other horses like Any Second Now, who's got to be with a good shout as well. It's 40 years on since Bob Champion won Old 80, so they'll be making a big thing about that as well. So just treat the Grand National as a bit of fun, really. It's not really something you could take seriously as a betting event, because it's a bit of a lottery, to be honest with you. So other big events going on at the moment, I forgot to mention this at the top of the podcast, is the Masters underway. We're at the stage now of the cut, and unfortunately Rory McIlroy's failed to make the cut. His run of form's been a bit hit and miss over the last few years in the majors. His form in the other events has been reasonably good over the last 12 months, but in the big events, the majors, he just seems to be not quite all there at the moment when it comes to making it and completing the career Grand Slam. Justin Johnson, the defending champion, is actually out. He hasn't made the cut either. I'm pleased to see that Justin Rose is at the top of the table at the moment. He's one shot clear, going into the third round. So obviously, with being an Englishman, I'd like to see him win. But it's going to face stiff competition. Obviously, Bryson DeChambeau's the big favourite in the world of golf at the moment. Well, not so much a favourite because a lot of people don't actually like him, but he's a very good player. He's very different, maybe a bit eccentric perhaps, but he's a good player. He's in with a shout. Mark Leishman, and another guy, is it Zalakaris, something like that? I've never heard of him. He's up there. Brian Harmon, they're all over a shout. There'll be people coming back through the field, so we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. Premier League darts is underway now. 5 nights we've had so far, and it's looking very open after the first 5 rounds of games. Apart from for Glenn Durrant, who's the defending champion, I think it's been fairly well documented, but he's been struggling with issues related to COVID and loss of form. He hasn't scored a single point so far, but the rest of the table's bunched up. Good start by Johnny Clayton, who did a 9 darter the other night. It's a bit of a shame when you do a 9 darter and there's no fans in. It's got to be a bit not deflating, but it's just a bit of a shame really for it that the fans aren't there to see him. But perform at the highest level, and he's doing really well. He's top of the table at the moment. Dimitri van den Berg's made a good start as well. Michael Van Gerwen's up and amongst the leaders as well. James Wade come in at the last minute for Gerwin Price, who tested positive on the eve of the tournament starting, so he's out. And maybe some people will feel that detracts from the tournament because he's the world champion, and you want to see the best players at the highest level. But James Wade's done well so far. Rob Cross is starting to show a bit more sign of his old self as well. His form's coming back a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes as we go on. But it's very open, as we say, at the moment. With regards to the stadium at Oddsall stock cars, obviously some publicity shots were put online by Star Tracks Racing yesterday, showing the cars and some of the advertising banners up behind the track above the fence where the hospitality suite is for Oddsall. So the track looks excellent. It looks in really good condition. The stadium's starting to look really, really nice now. I'm sure it's all going to be ready for those first events at the end of May. So good luck to Steve and the team there, getting that all sorted in time. With regards to the Speedway season, racing's underway now in Poland. I haven't managed to look at last night's results yet. Round 2, the season actually started last weekend, but because it's not on, basically I haven't got Premier Sports, so I haven't been able to follow it this year, and Free Sports aren't really showing any of it. So unless you can find a dubious feed online, you're going to find a struggle to watch it this time. It was a little bit easier last year. They are actually showing more meetings. British Speedway are launching their partnership with Eurosport in the coming week as well, because the Speedway season here starts on the 17th of May, and there'll be a live meeting on Eurosport on that night, as far as I'm aware. I don't think they've announced what the actual match is going to be, but I guess that will be announced as part of the launch next week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And I think that's probably just about all I want to cover this week for now. I'm sorry if I've missed anything out, but I've covered as much as I can. So until next week, enjoy your sport, look after yourself, and I will see you then.